process orchestration. Here, sustainability manager can set up a process how everybody can collect the data, then check the data, execute model, and finally do the reporting. In this process, we see 4 activity blocks. There is review input, update input data, execution, and reporting. And under those blocks, there are activities. You can see under review input data, 2 numbers, 0 and 7, meaning there are 0 activities done out of 7. To deploy before doing the process, you need to deploy it. Once you deploy it, all the relevant parties that need to do any of the activities will be notified by the email and will go directly to the same tool and do their job, what they need to do. They will see only, of course, their activities. Now we are seeing what Sustainability Manager will see. That is all activities that needs to be fulfilled. So for example, we have review input data. We see that user Cater, this is default user for SAP PaPM, needs to review all of the data that is fed into the calculation model. And what he needs to do, he needs to click on the one of activities. There are 7 activities, and just review if the data is correct, if the data is coming. Sometimes it might be there is no data. So now we see that, okay, data is coming, looks fine. So if it looks fine, he or she just goes to the process and it needs to mark this activity whether in approval or completed. If it's in approval, it will go to another person who will approve what reviewer did. But in this activity, we don't have approver, so Cater just simply puts the activity state to completed. The other example is on updating input data, where we have 4I principle. We see there are 2 users, Cater and Super, for all the activities. Cater will review the data and update the data, and Super will approve the data. So now Cater, what he needs to do, update emission factors for transportation. To update this data, he or she can choose to update it manually or through Excel templates. So I quickly show how it's done in manual fashion. He opens the table and updates the emission factors. What he needs to do, just to press edit button, and it works like like in Excel or anywhere else, just enter new number. Of course, when you have a lot of data, I said there are Excel templates. You can download data and then upload all the data. Oops, I think sorry. Yeah. Okay, video is running once again, this update process. So you update this manually, one of the emission factors. After it's updated, Cater will need to go again to his activity, tell that activity now is done from his side. It should go to in approval stage. So here in activity state, we say it's in approval. And then user Super gets notified by email. Okay, I have activity, Cater uploaded data. I need to check. 4I principle, 2 users checking. Once he or she checks, super user says, okay, it's done. After all data is updated, all data is input, somebody has to run calculations. Calculations are predefined in the calculation model. I will show you just after this process orchestration. And you just run model one by one, functions that need to be run, and calculate the result. After result is calculated, of course, there is a reporting part. So all those reports, graphs, they are created here in the end of the process, we see the reporting, and reporting is done. So somebody needs then to analyze the reports. Okay, I think this is it for process orchestration.